Hey friends, welcome back to Rita Talks. I'm Rita, and on this YouTube channel, I just share some of the thoughts, ideas that I've been thinking about, some of the things that have been going on in my life. And I'm filming this video again in broad daylight because I just came home and watched some series and slept because it was very long week. But yeah, honestly, I'm glad I did it because basically, I've been a bit sleep deprived for the past couple of weeks, and the fact that yesterday I slept like at 10 and a half p.m. is the earliest I've slept in so long, and I really needed that. So it was 100% a good thing, and yeah, I'm just filming this morning, and this actually got me thinking about why I've been sleeping so late and like consistently late. But basically, I think it's because of the evening routine that I've set for myself, part of which is filming these videos, and the other part is, doing some story-worthy moments of the day. So just recording a bit of the interesting things that happened during the day. Also, publishing one picture to Instagram every day, plus tweeting some things like some quotes from books that I've read, also every day. And yeah, basically, like from these things, like I've noticed that it just keeps pushing away my my sleep time because I need to do them. But I think that's a good thing because it's allowed me to prove some things to myself, and I think it's worth it. But I also think sometimes it's important to take a step back, and yeah, I think I think still I'm gonna keep my schedule the same. It's just there are days where where I just collapse out of how tired I am from the week, and that's completely okay. And yeah, I did it yesterday and actually had some good time. Like it was a treat, to be honest. I was watching this Spanish series. I think it's called Machos Males or something like this. Let me tell you, Machos Alpha. And it's basically about these guys who are basically struggling in a world of basically where things are changing when it comes to their place in society and stuff. And I just thought it was very funny because I mean it's interesting to take that perspective because I know there's lots of things that are changing, and I think it's affecting the men in our lives, right? With all of these things that are changing actually for the better. But that means that basically they're questioning themselves a bit more about their place in society, and some things that they used to take for granted are no longer, they can no longer take for granted. And basically, there are these books about how men are suffering. One of them is Of Boys and Men by Richard V. Reeves. And actually, he has been on quite a few podcasts to talk about this, which I find is very, very interesting. And so I bought them to be able to learn more about this issue and how maybe as someone who is a feminist and cares about women's issues, you know, these things are affecting men, and I think it's just interesting to see, and I think it will be because I care more about people being treated in a ethical way. This is also an issue that matters to me, and I want to be some of the first to care about this issue, and not just like the same way that women's issues were not cared about for a long time by men, and we're still facing some gender imbalances and things like this in the workplace, but that does not take away from the fact that the bottom half of the population, of the male population, is struggling, which I mean, it was very hard for me to take at the beginning because I was just thinking like, what kind of privileged people can think this about themselves and stuff like this. But I've read a bit more about it and tried to educate myself on the issues that are happening and maybe learn a bit more about the topic to just have like my goal is to seek the truth. I'm trying to be as I'm trying to understand reality as it is so that I can make better decisions. And this is something that's starting to emerge as a reality, which I need to educate myself about, especially as a woman, and especially as a woman who advocates for women's rights in STEM fields and in basically jobs that that are very high status. And so I just thought, like, it's kind of my responsibility to, to also learn about the struggles that these men are going through. It's all about intersectionality, so no one can be, free or like. We all need to have equitable rights and equitable lives. And for that, it also includes men and people of color and all of the minorities and all of the struggles that are, try to eradicate all of the basically the misery that's in the world. I think basically Daniel Kahneman, I think he just passed a day or two ago, or maybe it was yesterday. One quote that I saw from him was that I'm gonna misquote it, of course, but here's the gist. The goal of the human race is to eradicate misery, not to be happy. And that's something that I thought was very, very interesting. And misery shows up in many, many forms and to many, many different groups of people. And so this is just something that I'm trying to educate myself more about, especially because I'm not affected, right? So basically, every time I would feel like some man is like does not feel concerned by women's issues, I would get a bit I don't know, judgmental in some sense because it's right there and we could clearly see the differences and how women have suffered because of patriarchy, etc. But also, it's also my responsibility to acknowledge and learn about men's topics as a woman because it's the right thing to do, and maybe also attempt to find a good solution where everyone has the possibility to live the best lives that they can to some extent, and basically like eliminate misery for everyone, and that includes men, even though they have been historically privileged, but not all men. And as we can see from the issues that are now starting to emerge for men, is that only the men with the higher social status are privileged, and actually the men with the lower social status are also in misery. And so that's the distinction, is that we see that, some men are treated differently, and we assume that it's all the men that, benefit from those things. But it's quite interesting to learn about the topic. I'm very curious to figure out how we can help, and how hopefully in the future we will have a better, more equitable world for everyone, where everyone feels that they can achieve their potential and everyone has a purpose and meaning to their lives. And yeah, I just find it very, very interesting, and I'm very committed to helping in any way that I can. the same way that I wish more, men with higher status would acknowledge the issues that women are facing. But that's becoming a bit better just because of the place that it has taken in society, which makes me hopeful for the future. Does not mean that it's something to be taken for granted, because there are still lots of strides to make. Like I think right now in the US, lots of things are making us a bit sad, because basically abortion is no longer a right, and women's rights are, kind of regressing in some of the conservative states, and that's very, very sad to see. But the hope is, as I mentioned earlier, to make sure that everyone lives their life in a way that they can reach their full potential, because basically there's enough for everyone, and we are going more and more into a world of hyper abundance, and it's not a zero sum game; it's a positive sum game, and so we all win. Like most of the like we can all win. It's not like men have to lose for women to win, and it's not the opposite way either. And we can all, live better lives, and live lives full of purpose, etc. So yeah, that has been that was what has been on my mind. Also, yesterday was very happy because I was very productive. I managed to unblock my end-to-end testing, which I was very happy with, and yeah, it's gonna be like I'm quite happy with the progress that I've made, and finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel for this project, which has been a long time coming, and hopefully we'll be able to meet the testing requirements to be able to launch it finally. Um, and yeah, I'm just super happy with how it went, and yeah, it was the perfect way to end the week. Today is a Saturday. Actually, it's like Easter weekend, so on Monday it's a public holiday, and I'm looking forward this weekend to resting and just recuperating, which I haven't really had the chance to do in a long time, and like spending some me time, and like basically just sleeping a bit more, and yeah, just looking forward to resting a bit more, and recovering, so that I can tackle the next week with good energy. And yeah, just this is a weekend that I really need. So yeah, those are the things that I wanted to talk about today. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can click here to watch my previous video on this channel, so one right for this one, or you can click here to watch my latest video on the channel overall. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, night, whichever time of day it is where you are right now. Bye for now, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye.